the death toll rises in the AstroWorld tragedy.
A multi-million deal for UNT. We'll have more for you later in the show.
Axis, alpacas, and anvils, it's North Texas at its best. We'll have more.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Victor Villagran.
And I'm Michelle Brooks. Tonight, another North Texas family is grieving. 9-year-old Ezra Blunt from Houston was taken off life support late yesterday evening. He is now the 10th victim in the AstroWorld Festival tragedy. Ezra was on his father's shoulders towards the back of the AstroWorld concert when the crowd surge began. His father was knocked to the ground, and when he regained consciousness, Ezra was missing. Police found the child trampled by the crowd and critically injured. Ezra's family said they took him to the Travis Scott concert because he was Ezra's favorite entertainer. And late Saturday afternoon, 2 high schools who lost students in the AstroWorld concert played football against each other, but remembering their friends. Brooke Taylor has more.
Sporting pink and green ribbons on the back of their helmets, a reminder that tonight's game was more than just about winning. John Hilgert, a 14-year-old freshman at Memorial High School, and 16-year-old Brianna Rodriguez, a junior at Heights High School, were 2 of the 9 who died in the AstroWorld tragedy. Both of their school football teams playing against each other. But if you asked anyone in the crowd, it was really about 2 schools coming together.
It's definitely been a hard week, but I'm glad that we can come together as rivals and celebrate, their lives.
From a moment of silence
Now take this time to acknowledge those touched by the AstroWorld Festival tragedy.
to custom sweatshirts and signs for both John and Brianna, their presence was felt throughout the field. Students at both high schools mourning the loss of 2 young students whose lives were cut short in the chaos that unfolded at Energy Park.
Every day is a struggle, but we get through it day by day.
Hours before the game, Brianna's loved ones mourned her at a private funeral service, with so many sporting shirts in honor of her. Brianna's close friend Xavier Neal plays on the football team.
It made me feel good to know that I have support around me everywhere I go.
Even though Memorial will now advance after taking home the win and Heights season ended, Neal says this wasn't about the score.
Special day for everybody to come out here and to attribute to both schools, as both schools had a hard loss going on. So it was really cool for, both teams to come out and do that.
The investigation into why the crowd surge happened is just beginning.
Michelle, how's your homecoming weekend? I was able to enjoy time outside all weekend thanks to the nice weather we had.
Victor, my weekend with a mean green win was great. I couldn't complain, and the weather was pretty nice too. Let's go over to our weather anchor, Ryan Contrell, to see if we can expect it to continue. Ryan?
Well, Michelle, I can tell you that we are expecting good weather later this week, but I will talk about that for the 7-day forecast. Currently in Denton, we are looking at temperatures right at 70 degrees, feeling temperature of 71 degrees, and southerly winds at 7 miles per hour. We got clear skies, and it's going to remain throughout tonight with a low of 60 degrees, feeling temperature of 59 degrees, and those southerly winds still at 5 miles per hour. Now later on tomorrow, winds will increase to 15. Our high will be 78 degrees, and it will feel like 79 degrees. Clouds will start to roll in, but should clear out later in the afternoon. That's all I got for current conditions. Check back for me for full weather. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm hoping those clear conditions hold up, or else I won't be able to see the lunar eclipse on Thursday.
I was looking forward to seeing that too. Where do you think we'll be able to see it?
The best place to see it is in Houston, but I have class Friday morning. The best place that I could think of would be our very own UNT Planetarium. The best visibility is predicted to be 3 a.m., so I'm definitely going to need a cup of coffee before my first class. Well, one guy who can appreciate anything lunar is Snoopy. Really? Yes, really. In fact, Snoopy is heading into outer space. NASA's sending him to the moon in the new Artemis 1 mission. Astronaut Snoopy has a job. He will serve as the zero gravity indicator. The equipment will be inserted into the toy under the arms. Snoopy is wearing a custom orange flight suit, complete with gloves, boots, and a NASA patch. The new moon mission is expected to launch in early 2022.
Okay, Victor, now Snoopy may be flying high, but so are our own Mean Green men's basketball team.
That's right, Michelle, and our sports anchor Jennifer Holberg is on campus with more on that. Jennifer?
Thanks, Victor. Well, I'm here at the Super Pit tonight for this highly anticipated matchup between North Texas and the Buffalo Bulls. Now, the last time these two teams played was way back in December of 1999, where the Mean Green ended up winning the game 102-91. Now, before this game tonight, the team will be honoring head coach Grant McCaslin with a game ball because last week he did win his 100th win with the program against Oklahoma Christian University. So Mean Green fans may want to get here a little early if they want to catch that. Well, I'm on the opposite side of campus, but I've been hearing talk about a really fun event going on at the Lyceum tonight. ntTV's Gabrielle Evans has more on what you can do this Monday night. Gabriella?
Thanks, Jennifer. I've got the perfect event to spice up your Monday night. Stay tuned for more later in the show.
Former U.S. Representative Beto O'Rourke launched his campaign for Texas governor today. O'Rourke is known across the state for his close loss to incumbent Senator Ted Cruz in the 2018 Senate race. Beto announced his plans to run for governor in his hometown of El Paso this morning. Some of his campaign promises are to create world-class public schools and the best jobs in Texas. He also announced plans to improve Texas's electrical grid following the winter storm outages last February. He'll be campaigning against current Governor Greg Abbott, who will be running for his third straight term as governor. Beto will be hoping to make history, as a Democrat representative has not won a statewide race in Texas since 1994.
You know, Michelle, I bet those campaign costs really do add up.
I'm sure they do, Victor. Speaking of big spending, UNT recently got a large sum of money. Patrice is live with more info on the new grants. Patrice?
Thanks, guys. Well, UNT's research productivity has increased tremendously from 2020 to 2021. Despite the pandemic, UNT overcame the challenge by gaining new research grants and proposals. Our research proposal funding rose 17% over the last fiscal year, from $213 million to $251.4 million. UNT secured its highest level external funding ever with a 25% increase from $25 million to $50 million. And the university's restricted research spending rose from $17 million to $20.3 million, a 20% jump. On top of all of that, the 87 Texas legislature has approved $100 million in funding. The funding UNT has acquired will go towards a state-of-the-art research building. The new building will serve students in biological, material, and physical research. The site has not been selected yet, but UNT hopes that the building will deepen UNT's standing as a Carnegie Top Tier 1 public research university. That's all I have for you. Back to you at the desk.
UNT is celebrating Indigenous Peoples Month along with the rest of the country this November. In recognizing the role Indigenous people play in our country, President Joe Biden signed an executive order supporting Native American communities. This new initiative involves 17 federal departments and agencies dedicated to protecting tribal treaty rights. Some of the key actions include increasing tribal participation in the management of federal lands. This incorporates tribal knowledge in the fight against climate change and addressing violence against Native Americans. Biden announced all of these new initiatives at today's Tribal Nation Summit, the first one to be held since 2016.
You know, Victor, Mondays are always a drag. I could really use a good laugh today.
Well, Michelle, I like to think of myself as a bit of a comedian, but if I'm not funny enough for you, Gabriella Evans has a well-known comedian right here on campus. Gabriella?
Thanks, guys. I am here live at the Lyceum in preparation for the comedic night of the semester. Comedy night is finally back and is starting at 7 p.m. The comedian tonight is Paige Weldon herself, who has been a part of the comedy for decades. She has been on The Late Late Show and is an avid podcaster and even a cartoonist. Paige is going to be starting here at the UNT Lyceum at 7 p.m., and students are already lining up to see this legend at work. I had better claim my spot in line before I lose my seat. I hope to see you guys here, but for now, that's all I have. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Sounds like the show's going to be a good one. Victor, there seems to be a lot going around on campus tonight.
I know, Michelle, and with it getting darker now, I wonder if the temperatures have dropped. Let's check in with Ryan for an update on the weather. Ryan?
Well, guys, I can assure you that there will be a cold front later this week. We're actually experiencing a little bit of a warming trend right now. But let's take a look at what we got across North Texas. So we are looking at temperatures primarily in the high 60s and low 70s. We got Graham out there at 70, Gainesville at 65, Denton at 70, and then Paris way out there at 67. Now, as we look across Texas, we're starting to see more of the same thing. Low 70s, except for the exception of Oklahoma City up there, way at 64. We got El Paso at 70, Abilene at 73, Austin at 73, and Houston once again at 73. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. So right now we're looking at completely clear skies in the high 70s. Today, tomorrow through Friday should be completely clear with the exception of a little bit of chance of rain on Wednesday morning, with that cold front blowing through and lowering those temperatures for the rest of the week. Temperatures after Wednesday should be in the high 40s to low 30s. That's all I got for the full weather for y'all. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. If you're planning on buying a new toy this holiday season, you may need to act fast. Video game consoles, smartphones, and gadgets will be difficult to find for the holiday season. Some of Apple's biggest products, like their AirPods, iPads, and iPhones, are experiencing major delays. Some of Google's Pixel 6 Pro devices aren't shipping until January. The delays are caused by the global chip shortage and other COVID-related production hardships. Unfortunately, these issues will likely continue through 2022.
Now, aside from gadget delays, 2022 will begin in New York City with a large celebration. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio has teased a New Year's Eve celebration to ring in the new year. Although he has not yet confirmed whether the public will be able to attend, he says it will be a large and wonderful celebration in Times Square. Elementary schools are changing their mask requirements. We'll tell you more.
And a former UNT basketball player is one step closer to a lifelong dream. Stay with us. With the holiday season coming around, people are starting to enjoy themselves with local events. This local festival might just have what you're looking for. Welcome to Texas Tour Farm, home of the Forging Texas Festival. At this here festival, we got axe throwing, blacksmith demos, hay riding, food vendors, and much more. Even live music is great to listen to.
I toasted you, said honey, we made it through. You'll never hear me complain, 'cause I got friends in.
All right, so this is Texture Farm. We're out here in Aubrey, Texas, and this is a festival celebrating blacksmiths and many other different arts.
It's the perfect outdoor event for someone who wants to just enjoy the autumn breeze before Thanksgiving rolls around.
I love that we have a festival since we haven't really been able to do anything in a couple of years. So being around people is nice, but I love those alpacas. Ugh, they're the best. Getting to see and pet them, love it.
Oh gosh, probably the uniqueness of bringing all these different artists together. I mean, we got blacksmiths, we got gourd artists. The gourd artists are making music instruments out of gourds and early American canteens. Blacksmiths are forging different things. It's the creativity that goes into all of this. That's my favorite thing.
With the event now being over, it was fun while it lasted, but keep an eye out for other festivals like it. You wouldn't want to miss it.
The White House estimates that nearly 1 million kids between the ages of 5 and 11 have received their first COVID-19 vaccine so far. CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on how schools are responding with their mask mandates.
Some schools are rolling back mask mandates, but is it too soon?
I mean, the masks are like uncomfortable, but it's for safety. If I wear my mask, that means I get to see my friends. I'll just wear a mask.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines have not changed. Students, staff, teachers, and visitors to K-12 schools are recommended to wear masks indoors regardless of vaccination status, just as kids 5 to 11 years old are now eligible to get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Getting vaccinated also helps keep our schools open, children's sports going, and helps our children maintain a more normal lifestyle.
A review of school records finds hundreds of districts around the country have made masks optional, including some schools in Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky, often citing declines in COVID-19 cases. But experts say the virus is still a threat to young children.
Larger numbers of children and adolescents have been getting infected, and too many of those children have been getting seriously ill and sadly even dying.
The Ohio Department of Education says about 68% of school districts there have dropped mask mandates, and in Texas, schools aren't even allowed to require masks, although some districts like Dallas have ignored the state and kept the mandates. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
As schools begin to relax their COVID-19 protocols, the Mavs are moving in the same direction. The vaccine and testing requirements will be relaxed starting with the game against the Denver Nuggets. Visitors who are seated 15 feet or more away from the players no longer have to show proof of vaccination or have a negative COVID test within 48 hours. Those who are seated close to the players' bench must abide by the previous protocols. The Mavericks CEO Cynthia Marshall says anyone above the age of 2 is still required to wear a mask at all games.
Well, you don't need vaccination proof to attend any of the UNT basketball games this season either.
That's right, Victor, and there's quite a few coming up. Our sports anchor, Jennifer Holberg, has that and more. Jennifer?
That's right. I'll have a full look at UNT's upcoming schedule and a former basketball player doing big things in the DFW area. More coming up after the break. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys bounced back this week with a 43-3 blowout victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Now going into the second quarter, this game still seemed close with Dallas only leading 7-3, but that drastically changed. The Cowboys produced 29 unanswered points during this second quarter, including 2 touchdowns from Ezekiel Elliott and a blocked punt for a touchdown. 29 points is the most points scored in a quarter in franchise history for the Cowboys and their biggest halftime lead since 1971. Dak Prescott looked to be back in full swing this week, throwing for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dallas and their #1 ranked offense will travel this week to Arrowhead Stadium and take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also coming off a huge win as well. This highly anticipated matchup will kick off at 3:25. The Mean Green win their third straight 20-17 this past Saturday in a nail-biting game against UTEP. UNT led going into the fourth quarter only to see 10 unanswered points by UTEP to tie the game with 55 seconds left. It looked like overtime was most likely going to happen until Austin Awney threw a 55-yard pass to freshman wide receiver DeTravion Brown to set up the game-winning field goal. Awney led the Mean Green with throwing for 240 yards and a touchdown. North Texas will look to continue this win streak as they travel to take on Florida International this Saturday at 6 p.m. Former North Texas basketball player Deng Gu has signed with NBA G League team the Texas Legends. During his time with UNT, Gu started for all 31 games and helped the team with their Conference USA regular season win in 2020. He then went on to play with 2 European teams and the Ugandan national team. Before signing with the Legends, Deng Gu will be available for the Legends starting this week as they travel to Memphis to play tomorrow night and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Tonight, the UNT men's basketball team takes on the Buffalo Bulls here at home. This is one of the great non-conference games North Texas has on their schedule this year. Their schedule includes a Thanksgiving week tournament where they will take on Kansas and potentially Miami or Dayton. They also have some great matchups at home, starting with tonight against Buffalo, the University of Nevada, and Wichita State, a team that is in the American Athletic Conference, so North Texas will be playing a lot more in years to come. Now, tonight's game is also a little interesting because both UNT alum Javion Hamlet and James Reese both had basketball careers at Buffalo before ultimately coming to North Texas. Both Reese and Hamlet were a part of that historical team last season that made the NCAA tournament. Now, that is all I have here for sports. I'm gonna go grab a seat before fans start coming in, so back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, I may be cheating on my 20-year relationship with pumpkin pie this Thanksgiving. I know, I'm sorry, but Reese's is releasing its largest peanut butter cup ever in the form of a full-size Thanksgiving pie. The new dessert is a limited time offer with only 3,000 available to purchase on the Hershey's website for $45. The large cup is 9 inches wide and weighs a whole 3.4 pounds. Michelle, I think I may need to go buy some bigger pants. There's going to be a Reese's peanut butter pie at Thanksgiving this year. I'm gonna want to eat it up.
Honestly, Victor, you might have the right idea with this one. I am a sucker for Reese's, and I think I'm willing to go up a pant size too this Thanksgiving for that one.
Hey, Michelle, how about we give it a try together?
Honestly, you might have the right idea. Thanks for watching us on ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.